We are family. Come on over to the source and see. We are family. I got all my supporters with me. We are family. Forever the source, that's unity.
Aloha, aloha, aloha.
Hello. Well, I should say good day,
Good
should I
day.
not?
You should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome.
How are
How
you
are you?
doing? Hello, everyone in chat.
We've got Susan from High Country Homestead in Australia. Welcome, welcome to Five Questions with the
you.
Source.
Thank you.
We have.
Thank you.
How's today going for you?
Look, it's not too bad. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning here. So,
Yeah.
Sunday morning, 8 o'clock
Okay.
Sunday morning.
8 a.m.
So,
Sunday morning.
not
Bright and
not
early.
too far into the day yet, but I'm looking forward to a rest day. Yesterday
We're
was a big day for us, so yeah, I want a rest day today.
good. Yeah, you deserve that. Today here in Hawaii, it's Saturday. It's 11 a.m. Saturday. So it's
Oh, okay.
wild. Let's see who's all in the chat and shout out some people. First, welcome to the Dream Life Collective, Angela, Angie's Faith.
Hello.
Yeah. Fairbrick Studio, always in the chat. First one, number one. Look at that. Susan High Country, that's you. You're here.
Oh, yeah.
Exploradora 80, 67 minutes to showtime. Susan and Doran, yes, welcome in. Poetic Tear Sandra. Little
Hello,
Red Big
Sandra.
Little Red Big Smile. Kyle Vlogs channel. Uh let's see here. Desert Living Nina. Deborah L. Maui, who you met here, yes. Mr. Black is in the bill. That's Sandra's husband, Mr.
Yes,
Black.
indeed. Hello, Mr. Block. Lovely to meet you.
Timmy Does Everything is here.
Hey,
Uh,
Timmy.
Jaden Saw, Mike's Adventure Sparks,
Oh,
uh,
nice.
Rudy Iraheta is in the building. Simply Debbie Sue is here. Uh, Lala, the high vibe. Lala, the high vibe coach, nutrition. Steven is in the house. Chicken Explorers. And welcome in Sharon Sylvester. Is that someone you know?
It is. It is. It's my best friend from Melbourne.
Oh, cool.
One of my oldest friends. I've known Sharon since I was a teenager.
Wow.
Not too
Very
many
cool.
people I can say that about.
Yeah, we're gonna learn about some of those times growing up in Australia as Susan. We're gonna learn
Yeah.
about that. So, kind of the flow of the show today is um, the we kind of started out with like a little bit of a tour of your channel.
Uh-huh.
We read your bio and we then go into we share some pictures on the screen. You sent over some pictures first, let's showcase this background real quick here. So I created a homestead. She's got cows and sheep and chickens, roosters. Do you have roosters or just chickens?
Oh no, I have roosters too.
Roosters. Yeah, and I threw a tractor on there for
Look,
the look of
that's
it
good
all, and
because I've been trying to manifest a tractor,
yeah,
so it's actually really great that you've popped him in there. So that's good.
there it
Thank
is.
you.
Beautiful, and you might be a little more hilly up in the high
Oh
country. I'm
yes,
not sure.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
we are.
yeah. But that's fun. I have fun creating those images for the background, like curating it for the guests, you know. So um,
Deborah's saying that's my future tractor there.
there you go. There it is. So a couple updates for the source here. Today, all day today is Okies Eden Day. Support, support. Okies Eden, everybody. And on the bottom of the screen, I'm going to put our upcoming schedule. Next Saturday, we've got Easy Street with Jen. The Saturday after that is Stash Cash. Saturday after that is Real Outdoor Living. And the Saturday after that is Double Roses Twins on Valentine's Day. We're booking for the rest of February. You can email me through my channel description at the bottom. My email is written out there. Check that out. And then let's go ahead and get your special guest message up on the bottom here. There it is. High Country Homestead with her user handle is at Susan underscore High Country underscore Australia. So make sure to connect with Susan if you haven't already. And let's see if anyone else came in. Rudy, Kyle, Chicken Explorers, Dora,
Oh, there's
uh,
Nina. Hello,
Mr.
Nina.
Flock, Poetic Tears. Whose channel is this? Is here. Um, Timmy, Mark Crow is in the building. Nina in the house. Nina wrote a paragraph for us. 300 more hours to what for monetization. Okay, she's
Oh,
at 1780 watch. I
oh,
wanted to know,
Sheila.
Susan, how many watch hours are you at? I haven't heard that yet.
Oh, I don't have a lot. I'm sitting at about 1,200 at the moment.
Okay, all right,
I
but you're
mean,
doing fine.
last May, like May,
Yeah.
yeah, May last year, I was only sitting at about 500. So
Okay,
it's sort of
it's
jumped
working.
quite a bit. Now that I've started doing
The
lives,
live
that's made
stream,
a
the
big
lives.
difference. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
those live streams really do. And if you just put a camera outside on anything out there and leave it
yeah.
for hours, it'll work. Yes. Oh, Kyle reached 4,000 watch hours?
Oh,
Some
wow.
big color. Congratulations, Kyle.
Awesome, Kyle. Well done.
Yay. Drop a W in the chat for Kyle Vlogs to celebrate Kyle reaching 4,000 watch hours. Drop a W in the chat, everybody. Salute to Kyle Vlogs. He's put in that work. Let's go. All right. Let's keep this thing moving. But yeah, the live streams, you got it. You know exactly. So
Yeah.
um, all right. So yes, let's go ahead and pull up your channel. I've got some pictures here to share. We'll do a quick tour around the channel. We'll read your bio, and we'll get some pictures of you up here so you can tell us some things. So first off, Susan of High Country Homestead. And this is her channel, 1,350 or more subscribers, 150 videos or so. Um, Her bio, if I can read it. Hi, I'm Susan. Hi, I'm Susan. No. A single mom running 165 plus acres in the Highlands of Northeast Victoria, Australia, with no machinery and no income. Self sufficiency isn't a hobby for us, it's how we live. I grow food, raise sheep and cattle, cook from scratch, and tackle every job with simple tools and determination. I film on my phone, so I can't always record the work as I'm doing it. Instead, my videos tend to be more thoughtful and a little cinematic. Glimpses into the rhythm, beauty, and challenges of homestead life. I share stories through the seasons, the food we grow, animals we care for, the projects we tackle, and the quiet moments that make it worthwhile. I publish homesteading articles twice a month. After they appear in local newspapers, I share them on Buy Me a Coffee for anyone who'd like to read or support the work. Links are below. Alongside regular uploads, I've recently started doing live streams. Nerve wracking, but a lovely way to chat, connect, and share real time moments from the homestead. You got anything to say about that before I go into the tour a little bit?
Oh,
Mhm.
do I? Well, yeah, look, I mean, that's true. I need to do more cooking and gardening stuff.
Yeah.
But
It's,
now that I've got into doing lives, that's going to make it a lot easier. So I'll be able to achieve some of those little goals that I've got there in my bio. So
yeah,
yeah,
I could see you out with like a tripod and then just
yeah,
like put it there and then just do what you do during the day or let the animals do what they do and like just that and then I'm big now into scheduling the content. So if you do content or whatnot, then you can schedule one for either one a
yeah.
day or one early in the day, one late in the day. Start to like just
Mhm.
let the farm work and
Yes,
less you doing all the work.
yes.
Let the farm things
I
that are already
do.
happening.
I do try and schedule like my Tuesday lives, which is now every Tuesday or Monday
Right,
if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. And
right.
in February, when it's a little bit quieter, I hope on the farm, I'm going to start doing every Thursday as well. And they're always
Okay.
going to be scheduled.
That
But
will help.
and even the lives, sorry, not the lives, my long form, which aren't that long, but
Right.
I usually do them every second Saturday. But
Okay.
December and January is just so busy. It's like it's not just Christmas, it's when everything's happening. And there's
Everything.
just
Yeah.
no time to edit. And like you come in from carting hay for a few hours and it's like, do I have a shower and a rest or do I spend 12 hours editing? And quite frankly, I don't spend 12 hours editing. So
No, I
I'll
don't.
get back to the long form shortly.
Yeah, yeah, and this is a side. This isn't
Yeah.
the YouTube is not the full time. You've got the farm to run
No.
to
Yeah.
sustain. That's number
Yeah.
one, and that's
Yes.
why just letting the camera run once in a while is
Yes.
probably
Yes.
like Chicken Explorers is like the brilliant one that just put the camera on his little chicken and bunny area and leaves it on all day, and
I
the
know.
watch hours
I've watched
stack
some
up.
of the roof. It's
Like,
fantastic.
yeah. Welcome in Brenda Huckleby and welcome in Bells and Stars or Sunny Side Up. It looks like she's just going with Sunny Side Up now. So, and Whistle Stop Homestead is in the building. Welcome in as well.
Hey,
Yeah.
Ed.
Yeah, Ed, you have another homesteader. Do you have a big network of homesteaders on here? Or
No, no,
no?
I don't.
No,
Not
there's a
yet.
whole bunch of followers in there, and then
There
but
are.
then you got
There
to tune
are.
into them too. So that's
I
busy.
try.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's good. It's good. Yeah. Um, okay, so let's tour around a little bit. Let's check out your channel. So I go across the tabs across the top. So you do all of it: videos, shorts, long form, live stream. You got playlists and posts. So shorts. These are your popular shorts. 8,000 views, 6,000, 6,000. People love the cows and the chickens and the
Yeah, they
baby
do.
cows and the baby chickens lately. It looks like. So that's awesome. And then video long form popular, you got, almost 6,000, 2,000, 2,000. All sorts of homestead content. This is where you get into like your Stanley wood stove and our snake gators worth it. When to pick peaches and fermented chicken feed, and this people can learn. This is a lot of how tos. These are a lot of your evergreen content.
Yeah, yeah.
It's doing pretty well here. Surviving a power outage, which is really important in these times. So, and then of course you're doing a lot of prepping and canning and such too, and maintaining the farm and caring for animals. And so live streams. I counted recently. You've done 13 live streams.
I
Uh,
have. I've done 13. Started in September. It
yeah.
was funny, because I mean, my channel is only about 18 months old, give or take
Mm-hmm.
a month.
Right.
And I was very nervous. Like I'd thought about starting a YouTube channel, but I was very nervous about doing it, but I did it.
Yeah. Yes.
And some of my friends who were supporting me in the early days then they say, oh, you need to do lives and you need to put your face on camera. And I
Right.
was so nervous about it, I didn't put my face on camera. It was purely a faceless YouTube right up until the time I did my very first live. In fact, my second live,
Yeah.
but that's another story.
That
Um,
was a lot. We
yeah,
we all we all like when you hadn't done a live yet, and the whole YouTube community we all get rallied around you for that first live stream. I remember that. That was really
yeah.
awesome.
So, and that was the first time I'd done a live, and
Yeah.
it was going to be the first time that I showed my face as well.
Wow.
But I had told everyone because everyone was putting pressure on me, all my friends saying, oh, you got to do a live, you got to show your face. I said, look, when I get to 800 subscribers, I will
Mm,
do my live, I'll do my first live, and I'll show my face.
there you go.
And
There
I
you go.
did 800 because never
Yeah.
in my wildest dreams did I actually think I would get to 800.
Ah,
I never thought I'd get there. So, the idea of having to do a live and show my face just never occurred to me as being something that I would actually end up having to do. But lo
right.
and behold,
There we
here we
are.
are.
There we are. I want to welcome in Alaskan Wild Adventures. I want to welcome in Gracie G. Welcome in. Hardnack. Oh, are the Graciella's in Australia? Okay, cool. Hardnack Farms is here. Welcome, Hardnack Farms, another farming channel. Um, and let's see, Angela Angie's Faith. Welcome to the Dream Life Collective, Angela Angie's. Welcome, welcome. And let's see here if anyone else popped in here. Shout y'all all out. It's a very busy chat as per usual. 28 million in the building. Okies Eden is in the building. Okies Eden Day all day today. Support, support. Okies Eden, everybody. All right. Woo! All right, so we're touring her channel. So this is her live tab. You got up 366, 350, 300, very, very successful. You're doing really well for an hour live stream, or up to 2 hours on some of them. Like you can't complain about that.
No,
And people
no.
really want to see exactly what you're doing, showcasing the farm and what you're doing and the animals and all that. Thank you, Graciela Gracie G, for that super chat. Just a start pitching in. Oh, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Thank you. 1111 code is here as well. Welcome in. Let's check out what else. Yeah, code is cool. Cool guy. Playlists. Really nice playlist here. Or you got it really organized nicely, is what I'm seeing. Yes, that's so. Check that all out, everybody, and then your post tab. You're just keeping people informed on what's happening with the farm, and
Yeah.
in your area too. The fires.
Mm.
So, do you want to talk about the fires for a second? What's been going on with that?
Oh, I mean, look, our district, were incredibly lucky. The first fire was, a fair distance away in
Yeah.
terms of like getting in your car and driving to it. But we've had fires in this state in the past that have traveled something like 40 kilometers, or, what's that in miles? 40 kilometers, about 37 miles or something, in under a minute. They can go that quickly, especially when they've got a wind behind them. And
Yeah.
when the fires started, it was very windy here, and it was just sending embers all over the state, and there were little spot fires starting everywhere. And it's always been our plan that if we need to evacuate, that we would get in the car and drive to Melbourne, which is about a 2.5, 3 hour drive for us. But because of where the fire was situated and because of the embers that were raining down, we couldn't actually get to Melbourne. They had closed the road.
Mm,
And our plan B was to go to Wangaratta, which is another town in the other direction. Well, they had fires there from the embers, so we couldn't get to Wangaratta. And then plan C was to go to Albury Wodonga. And,
mm,
you know, even that at some point had fires. So we ended up, almost, our district was almost like surrounded by little fires here and there, and some not so little. Um, and some of them are still going. Like the one that was nearest to us is still going, but it's well and truly contained now. They're not expecting it to sort of flare up. They're just sort of like waiting around and making sure that no smoldering embers or trees sort of take off again. So we were incredibly lucky because we ended up in a situation where even though the car was packed, there were so many roads that had been closed across the
right.
state that it was hard to know where to go because nowhere seemed safe.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but we're still here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a similar story. Deb lived in Ojai, California. We both were living there at
Yeah,
the time,
yeah,
or for a time. And the fires came to Ojai and were coming down the mountain towards the town. And so
yeah,
I helped Deb and her friend escape We loaded into a car and we zoomed out of town. There was only one road, and we went right through the fires on both sides of the road. Um,
Yeah.
and the fires came
Oh,
all the way up to where we were staying with her friend there. They came all the way
mm,
up to their property.
it's
So there was,
pretty
yeah, we had a
scary.
similar in the California wildfires.
Yeah,
So
I saw there was a question there in the chat.
yeah,
Someone said what fires, and in Victoria here, which is
yeah,
the state that
Australia.
I'm in, we've had the fires that we've had in the last couple of weeks have
Mm,
burnt over 400 hectares of land. And that's not, and I've said that to a few people, and they say, "Oh, you mean 400 acres, don't you?" So no, it's 400 hectares.
hectares.
Now I believe it's 4 acres to a hectare, so that's a big area, to have
Oh,
burn. And as far as I know, only one human life was lost. And really,
okay.
when you consider the amount of land and the size of the fires, I mean, that's a miracle. It could have
Yeah.
been so much worse.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, thanks for the update. I want to welcome in Jerry G and Mia 14. Welcome, welcome to both of you. Yeah, bless your heart, Little Red Big Smalls. Bless your heart. And Graciella's sending her concern. Everybody sending their concerns in the chat. Thank God you're okay. Ace FLA1 is in the building. Welcome in. Okay, so we got some pictures here. You sent over some pictures. And while we do that, we'll transition into the interview format, the 5 questions format while we're doing that as well. How's the smoke? Monique Poe is here. How is the smoke right now?
Smoke. Look, earlier this morning it was a little bit smoky, but it seems to have cleared up for the moment. Yesterday, which was our Saturday, was the
Oh,
first clear day that we had had in about 2 weeks. And it was really
okay.
nice. I could hang washing outside and not bring it in and have it smell awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been very smoky at times.
Okay.
But yeah, it's all good.
All right. And so the first picture here. So let's throw that up there. Who's that?
Who's that? That was me in kinder.
Yeah. Tell us
So,
about those times.
oh, well, gee,
Yeah. Growing up as Susan in Australia, what was
yeah.
that like?
No, it was good. It was good. My parents, I was brought up as an only child, so I didn't have siblings. So
Okay.
I really enjoyed going to kinder and to school because I got that interaction in. But
Yeah.
I was sort of quite an extrovert at that point, but then as I got older, I sort of, you know, turned inward a little bit more. But no, it was losing my voice. It was good. It was good. I can still remember going. I can remember my very first day going to kinder, and there was a little boy from down the street, Jason, I think his name was, and another boy called Darren,
Yeah.
and and I ended up making good friends with them, and the three of us would hang around together. So yeah, it was nice.
It was nice. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Let's see what else you sent over. Because kind of growing up a little there, and then I see. Maybe this will be the next one. How about this one next? Actually, what's going on
Oh
here?
wow, yeah, that one. Okay, so um, I used to sing in a band. There was a couple actually, but that one there is actually at a rehearsal, I think. We weren't live at that point. We didn't have an audience sitting there with us, but yeah, no, that was good. We were called the Boozed Broadcasters.
Yeah. The boozed.
So
So you guys drank a good amount then, huh?
yeah, yeah. Well, the band had different members. I think I've told in the bio that I sent over that I used
Yeah.
to work for a media organisation, and
Yep.
so that band, that photo that you've pulled up there, was like the band for that organization. And
Okay.
depending on what shifts people were on, you know, there could be a totally different set of people in the group one day to what there would be the next day. So as long as all the instruments were covered, you know, you had someone on drums and you had someone on guitar and you had someone on bass.
Yeah.
It could be, you know, there were so many people that sort of revolved through the group, and it actually made it really dynamic because you never knew which one of us was going to be on what days. And we used to play at work functions, but we sort of made a little bit of a name for ourselves, and we did do, you know, pub gigs and things like that as well.
Cool. Cool. And you
Yeah.
sent over a couple more pictures here. You got the classic car.
Oh, I loved that car. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was my 1927 T model Ford Roadster. And there was
Wow.
this lovely old man who lived, I was just down the road from me, and he had that vehicle out the front of his house up for sale, and he had another two as well. And with roadsters, because a roadster has what they call a turtle deck on the back. Um, and a lot of farmers who couldn't afford a truck, what they would do is they would buy a roadster because it was a two-door car. They'd take the turtle deck off the back and they'd put a ute tray on it. And a lot of them, you know, the turtle deck would get tossed out into a field or into a pasture somewhere and just rot away. And so there's not too many roadsters around that actually have the proper turtle deck on the back. So this lovely old man and I, after I bought it, he and I spent 3 years restoring it, and we pulled it all apart, and he taught me how to build the engine and how to I had all the panels chemically dipped to strip all the paint off. Um, he taught me how to spray paint, and we did a whole new timber tray for the back of the um, T model. And then I took it on my very first club run, which was, you know, pretty daunting. They're a really interesting vehicle to drive. But when I took it on my first club run, someone approached me and they had heard about someone that had a T model Ford, a 1927 T model Ford Roadster body in a town like about 3 hours drive away. And so I ended up buying that, sold the body off the first one that I'd restored, which was still in ute form. So I sold that in bits. I kept the chassis and the engine and all the running gear, and then put the new roadster body that had the turtle deck on the chassis
Yep.
and started the whole renovation thing all over again. And that
Wow.
took like another two years or so. But they're so interesting to drive because you've got your pedals, and you've got one pedal is like your first and second gear, or low gear and top gear.
Hmm.
Then another pedal is for reverse, and then the other pedal is a brake. And then you also have a handbrake that mimics all the same things as the pedals. So depending on where you put your brake, you can either brake the vehicle, put it into low or top gear, or put it into reverse. So, you know, it was fairly nerve-wracking the first time you actually take it out on a real road with real traffic lights and real modern cars around you, and you're thinking, what if I slam this thing into reverse by accident? You know, it
Yeah.
was, but no, it was so much fun. It was so
Yeah,
much fun.
Strings and Pucks wants to know if the Model Ts were adapted for Europe, like steering column and et cetera and such. So I don't know.
It was I'm trying to remember actually. You know, I can't remember. I think the steering wheel was on the left.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that was another
Okay.
thing that's different
Wow.
because over here they're not called.
Right. And this is.
Shadow, my first ever dog. That was my corgi.
Oh,
He lived for 21 years.
wow. That's good.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, his back legs didn't work in the end, so he had a trolley made. The vet actually made him a trolley, and he used to run around on his little
Oh,
trolley, and he had a great time. But yeah, he was a lovely dog. My first dog.
traveling, huh?
Mm,
France?
traveling, yeah, yeah, that's France. I think that's Notre Dame Cathedral there in the
Okay.
background. Oh,
Yeah.
gee,
Beautiful.
I loved going to France, but
Yeah.
I went in my 30s to Europe, to the
Mhm.
continent, as they call it.
Yeah.
And I started in Holland, in Amsterdam. I thought that was a good place
Yeah.
to sort of ease into the whole thing. And I was there for a week or so. I went to Germany. I went to the Czech Republic. I went to Italy. I went to
Too.
France. I went
Me too.
to
Yeah.
Austria. I mean, so many places.
Yeah.
But I sort of worked my way around, and I had my Lonely Planet book, which were,
Yep.
Lonely Planets were maybe still are a thing.
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
but I'd only sort of made the bookings for Holland. So when I touched down there, I knew where I was going to be spending my first week.
Right.
And after that, I'd just go through the Lonely Planet and wing it.
Yeah.
So I sort of had some rough ideas, like the Czech Republic. I needed to get a visa for that before I left
Mm,
Australia.
mm.
So I had to lock in the dates for the Czech Republic. But apart from that, I just sort of like drifted around, and I might go to Austria. I ended up working in Austria for a little while at the place. It was a big hotel that I was staying in. And I ended up getting a job there as a chambermaid for about a month. So
Mm.
I stayed there, of course. It meant I had to stay in Austria for a little bit longer than planned, and it sort of funded the next stage of the trip. And then
Okay.
I think after Austria, I went to Germany, and same thing. I was sort of doing a little bit of work there as well. And I just sort of worked and traveled and explored and met up with people, and people I'd be working with, or people I would meet through the jobs that I had while I was traveling around. But oh, it was fantastic fun though. And then went to France, and then after France, I got the ferry across to the UK, and I stayed there for about a month or two. It was a
Yeah.
big trip. It was 4 or 5 months. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, my brother and I
Yeah.
did a similar. My brother and I did a similar trip. It was 2 months during the World Cup, and we were based in Germany, and we went and train rides in each direction. So we did 12 countries, 17 cities, staying in hostels.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very similar. Awesome, awesome trip. Yeah. Welcome, welcome, shout out, welcome Cali Chickens, welcome Strings and Pucks, welcome Fuzzy Adventures. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And then so we're in the tour, but I want to kind of do the word association game here too, and then we'll weave into the 5 questions, and we'll finish out the pictures you sent me while we're doing that, because it
Uh-huh.
kind of just flows that way this time. So let's do let's do the word association game. Let's kind of icebreaker if we didn't already break the ice perfectly fine. Um, you just got to be on our toes with the 5 questions with the source.
You
So,
do.
word association game is an icebreaker. So, I say a word, and you say the first thing that comes to mind. If you want to go into story and expand on something, that's what it's all about. So here we go. So, the first word on the list is YouTube.
Ooh, wonder. It's a source of wonder. I initially came into YouTube, as probably many of us did, just to sort of watch other people
Mhm.
doing their
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
And sometimes I was there for entertainment purposes. Other times I was there to learn and to see things demonstrated, or for ideas. Um, and that's what I did for many years, and then I became a content creator, and but even so, it probably took me about 6 or 7 months after I started the channel before I actually went in and watched my first live stream. It took me a long time to watch my first live stream.
Mm.
And I watched a few, and then I one day decided I'm going to try and go in the chat. And all these people bombarded me. It was like, oh,
Yep.
hi, how are you? How are
Yep.
you? And I
Community.
made so many friends, you know.
Yeah.
And of course I spent many months going into other people's live streams and
Right.
connecting with people and making friends before I then decided to do my own. And that too was the time when people in the live streams that I was watching would say, well, when are you going to do one? When are you going to do one? I say, oh, when I get to 800 subs, you know,
Yes.
I was at 99 subs or something. It wasn't going to
Oh
happen.
wow.
So,
99.
yeah, so for me, I think YouTube is a place of wonder because it can be so many things for so many different people across the
Right.
world, depending on what their interests are. And yeah, wonder.
Yeah. Sounds good. Next word. Next word. Welcome. Welcome in Nana of 5. Welcome. Welcome. The next. Hey. The next word is Australia.
Oh, Australia. Okay, well, variety, I suppose. When I
Yeah.
think of Australia, I think of variety. Um, Australia has always sort of put itself out there as a place that welcomes people from so many different cultures. So in this land, you know, we've got, you know, people from so many walks of life, so many countries have gravitated here. Even in the early days when we were first being colonized, you know, we had lots of English people come across and Dutch people and Chinese people and then there was lots of Germans for a while and lots of Greeks and Italians. So we've got all these different communities all stretched all across Australia now. And Australia has really, for the most part, really embraced those communities and some of their cultures into who we are. You know, we don't really have, a lot of countries have like Italian cuisine or you know, German food, but here in Australia, we've just embraced every cuisine, every culture. Um, so we've sort of like nitpicked the best things of everything and just brought it here and embraced it. So certainly variety in terms of the people and the culture, but also variety in the land itself. Like a lot of people think that Australia is just this big, hot country. And I found going into the lives when I first started going into other people's lives, and I'd tell them, "Oh, you know, it's snowing," and they go, "No,
In
no,
Australia.
it
Wow.
doesn't snow there." And I go, "No, it does. No, it doesn't."
No.
And you know, they'd
Wow.
have to go onto my
The
channel and
hike
look at
up
photos and
country.
stuff, you know. But we have ski resorts. But then you have
Wow.
the tropics in Queensland, and
Mm.
you have deserts. Like the centre of Australia is
Wow.
a desert. So
Yep.
there's so many different parts to Australia itself. So there's a lot of variety in the land and in the landscape and in the weather, but there's a lot of variety in the people and the culture as well.
Yeah. Cool.
So one
Cool.
word, variety.
Yeah. Variety. And welcome in Dawn's channel. Welcome, Dawn. All right. And happy birthday to Timmy does everything. He's got a birthday. Happy
Oh,
birthday,
happy birthday,
Timmy.
Timmy. Happy birthday.
Timmy. Yay. A lot of people would love to visit Australia. That was one of those when I was growing up, it was like, where do I want to go in the world? Australia.
Yeah. It takes so long to get here, though. I think it does put a lot of people off the length of the flight.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. The next word is self-sufficiency.
Oh,
That's what
well,
I
it's a
see
way
for
of
you.
life. Yeah, it's a way of life for us. I always wanted to be self-sufficient. Like when I lived in Melbourne in the city,
Yeah.
I had like a back garden and I had a big veggie patch and I had chickens. And but I found it frustrating that I couldn't grow more food.
Right.
So when I decided that I wanted to move, I wanted to move to a place where I could grow more. And of course, I bought this place, which was so much bigger than I was probably really intending to get.
Wow.
Um, and it was a steep learning curve, and I mean it still is. But the climate up here, especially because we do get snow in winter, is so different to what I was used to in Melbourne. And I basically had to relearn everything all over again, like when to plant seeds and how to grow things. I mean, we're probably, pardon me, almost 6, 8 weeks behind the weather in Melbourne. So
Wow.
even though technically we might be in summer or in spring or in winter, according to the rest of the state and the rest of the country, it actually takes 6, 8 weeks for it to catch up with us here. So I had to relearn everything, and I'm still learning. Then when COVID happened,
Mm,
I had a little part-time job in town, and
mm,
I lost that job because they weren't getting enough people through the store. And I had to become self-sufficient then. So it had always been a dream, and I was growing food and I was preserving food, but
right.
I had to grow it then. So I sort of had to fast track the plan by about 12 months.
Okay.
And we had the lockdowns here, and I remember I left work that last day. They told me in the morning that it would be my last shift,
Mm.
and I did some groceries at the nearby supermarket, and I drove home. And I don't think we left the property again for about 10 months.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So in that 10 months, we were growing everything and preserving everything and had the milk cow and all that sort of thing. So we could do our own dairy, do our own cheese, all that sort of
Wow.
thing. So, and I think when we did go into town, like 10 months later, we just went in, picked up a few toiletries and things,
Yeah.
came home, and I think it was about another 6 or 7 months before we went back into town again. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Mm.
it's a way of life for us now, and
Yeah. I see
cheaper and
that.
healthier and
Yeah.
much healthier.
Yeah. I see that. I see that. So the next one, so and you said we, so I'm gonna try to so we and then high country and homestead. It's in your name. So basically kind of just tell us what is define what is high country homestead. Like the what is you're in the high country. You tell us
Yeah.
about that. Homestead, kind of how large it is and who's the we. So kind of give us a
Okay.
story of who is and what is this high country homestead.
Okay, so I am in the Alpine region of Victoria in Australia. Um, we so we're in the mountains. From my, if anyone has been in my lives or watched my videos, we've got this big wraparound veranda around the house. So it doesn't matter where you walk around that veranda, all you can see is miles and miles and miles of mountains and trees, and there's no near neighbors. The nearest shops are probably 40, 50 minutes drive from here.
Wow.
So we're fairly remote, but there's still places scattered around. So um, fairly close to the snowfields where I am.
Mm.
It's a bit of the town, our closest town is sort of what they would term a tourist town, but it's been there a long time. But yeah, we get snow up here in winter. So I suppose that's where we are.
Right.
We're quite high up, of course, being in the high country and getting the snow. Homestead, I'm on about, it's either 165 or 168. It's somewhere in there. About 48 acres of it is cleared paddock, and the rest of it is all natural bushland. There are tracks cut through the bush, which are there for sort of firefighting purposes when they're
Mm.
cleared. But it also means you can sort of drive through and harvest firewood. If trees come down, you can chop them up, bring them back up to the house, split the wood, because that's our heat and our cooking for winter and for the cooler months. So it's quite a big property, but a lot of it is bush. And the
Yeah.
that is me
Mhm.
and my daughter,
Yep.
my
Yeah.
teenage daughter. And thank goodness, because she can
Yeah.
do all the technical stuff. Like
Mm.
my first few lives, I couldn't work out how to start it off, and I'd have to give her the phone and she'd go, okay, you do this, and then you do this, and then you do this, and then here you go, mum.
There you go.
but,
Yep.
but
Yep.
I've got it
Perfect.
now.
Good. Good. A couple questions in the chat. Little Red Big Smile is really into chocolate, so she's asking if it's like the best chocolate in Australia or something.
Yeah, look, everyone tells me it
Yeah,
is.
it is okay.
There's a lot of, like, when I was traveling around Europe and the UK and everything, the
Yeah.
chocolate to my palate seemed um over there seemed grainy in a way that it doesn't seem to be over here. Our chocolate seems to be a lot creamier, and
Okay.
everyone who I've ever met who has come over here says that our chocolate tastes better.
Okay.
So
Cool. There
yeah,
you go.
yeah,
And Strings and Pucks wants to know, is the busking culture still strong in Australia for
yes,
musicians?
yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Cool. Figured to throw those questions in there. Um, all right. And the next word on the word association game, we talked about the fires already. How about living with cows, chickens, sheep, dog, cats, all your animals? I guess what do you?
Oh, well, look, I started gradually. I mean, when I moved up here, I had a dog and I had some cats.
Yeah.
And it took about 4 weeks for me to get the sheep, which isn't long really, because I mean, I think for most people, when they move to a farm, the first thing they want to do is get animals. Oh, I did have some chickens. I brought the chickens up with me when I moved from
Yeah.
Melbourne.
Oh, okay.
Um, but the first real animals was the sheep, and we got black Suffolk, the ones that have the black heads and the black legs. And over here in England and in Europe too, I think there's a cartoon called Shaun the Sheep,
Yeah.
and it's a cartoon where the sheep are all black Suffolks,
Hmm.
and they all sort of get up to mischief, and the farmer doesn't know what they're doing behind the scenes, and he's oblivious to everything, but the sheep are actually running his homestead in England. And my daughter loved that show. So when we were talking about getting sheep, well, it had to be black Suffolk because of Shaun the sheep. So that's how we ended up with that particular breed. I'm just
Okay.
grabbing my tripod there because my
Cool.
cat's decided she wants to scratch herself on it.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Yep.
and
Sounds
then we've
good.
got the cows.
British.
The cows
Yep.
took a lot longer to get. I spent a lot of my money buying the property, so I didn't have a lot of money left over.
Right.
So I had my job in town, which was for 2 days a week, and I opened up what they call like a Christmas club account. I don't know if they have those overseas, where you
Uh,
open an account and you can put a little bit of money in it every week, but they won't allow you access to that account until I think it's like 6 weeks before Christmas. So the idea is that you get high interest on it and you can't
okay.
touch that. And then at Christmas, they allow you to have the money so you can then buy gifts for your family or food or
Okay.
whatnot.
Hmm.
Um, so anyway, I opened a Christmas club account and I'd put like, oh, some weeks it was only like $10 or $20.
Right.
And I did that for a couple of years actually. Um, so I could save up enough money to buy, I think it was either 5 or 6 steers, which are boy cows that have been,
Yeah.
so I
Mhm.
bought my 5 or 6 steers. It took me three or so years. And then I kept the cows for 1 year and sold them, made a profit. And then I used that money to buy 10, did the same thing, kept them for a year, um, and then sold them, bought 12. And then I did it again, got 22. And
Wow.
they were Angus cattle.
Mm.
But what I really wanted, I either wanted belted Galloways or British White um, to breed. And I'd never tried breeding cattle. So, but I ended up with the British White. So that's what I've got at the moment. And I bought 6 pregnant heifers. And then earlier in 2024, I bought a bull and a couple more younger heifers. So I've got quite a menagerie going on there now.
Yeah.
And learning how to breed the cattle was yeah, that was really interesting. Like when the 6 pregnant heifers came, um, I didn't know because I'd sold my 22 steers and it was probably about 6 months of researching before I decided to go with the British White, and then these ones were offered to me. And the grass had got really long. And I didn't know, having not bred them before, that what you shouldn't do is let your pregnant heifers eat themselves stupid. And I did.
Mm.
And the unborn calves just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when calving time came, they were all too big to be birthed naturally. So my neighbors were constantly coming around and they'd have to like physically pull the calves from the heifers, and we had to get them like when the first one went, we got it into the barn and we managed to get it into the milk stanchion. And of course this cow had never been confined before and the milk stanchion was timber, and of course it smashed up the milk stanchion, but they managed to get the calf out, and then they went out into the paddock, and then the next day the next cow went into labor and the same thing, all the neighbors had to come back, and we'd smashed up the milk stanchion, so people were bringing gates to brace the cows, and all
Yeah.
the neighbors would be pushing themselves up against the gates while someone else is trying to pull the cow out, and everyone had to be pulled. So
Oh,
that was a really big thing for me to learn. So this time round, I actually put them in paddocks with less feed so that the calves wouldn't get as big, and they've all been birthed naturally so far. So you're always learning.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
between sort of like saving up for the first 6 and then the 10 and then the 12 and then the 22, it's taken me 10, 12 years to get to a point where I could actually start breeding my own cattle.
Okay.
So,
Wow. Very cool.
yeah,
Very cool. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all that. I've got all sorts of people to shout out and questions and things. So let's see if we could do some of this here. So Paul D Australia is here. Welcome, Paul D. Uh,
Paul.
We've got Village Food Baha'i, Village King in the building. Raw Footage came through. Welcome, welcome. And then questions. Let's see what we can do with some of this. Quick question. Timmy wants to know if you drive on the left side of the road.
We
Or
drive
the right?
on the opposite side of the road to what
Right.
you would, Timmy.
So
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
you're on the right side then. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Timmy wanted to know if King Charles is still alive. Is that a thing? I don't know.
King
I don't.
Charles
I think he
in
said
the
king, unless he said prince. I'm not sure. Don't worry.
Prince,
Don't worry about it.
um,
Don't worry about it. Oh,
Prince,
Allison.
Prince Charles, who's in the UK, is now
Yeah.
King Charles, but he's still alive.
Okay. All right. And Allison Mapp is here. Welcome in, Allison Mapp. And then Graciela is interested in staying with you. If just putting that out there. Question, in the spring, it sounds like she wouldn't wants to do something like that.
Ah, yeah,
You
I
don't
have
have to
a
comment.
few people coming to stay. So,
Put them to work.
Paul D Australia and
All
Dora and
Devo too. That'll be
yeah.
great if you can get the right people, be selective, and then make sure they put in the work.
Oh yeah.
My question: I'm a monetization type person, meaning profitability and self
Mhm.
sustainability and all that. How does it keep going, and how is it meant to grow? So I guess that was going to be my question anyway. So. What does monetization on YouTube mean to you when it happens? And also, like, yeah, what is the money plan? Like, how does it exist
Ah.
as a homestead, or is there a sustainable income flow? Do you have business at all? Like, you have
Um,
customers at all? You know,
at the moment, like in
tricky.
Australia,
Yeah.
if I had a small homestead of 40 acres or under, I would be able to get some government assistance.
Wow.
But I have 165, so
Oh.
I'm not eligible for any type of government assistance because I don't have less than 40 acres.
Okay.
If you have more than 40 acres,
Mm.
you can get government assistance, but then you've got to be like a big farm and you've got to be earning in excess of $70,000 a year,
Yeah.
which clearly I'm not doing that either. So if I was a really, really, really big farm, I could get government assistance if I needed it, like for the fires or floods or anything that comes through. And if I was smaller than 40 acres, I could also get government assistance. But because I sit in the middle, I'm not eligible for anything.
Hmm.
So when I was working, um, I was really good at saving. Like that's how I managed, as I said, with the Christmas Club account to save up and even get cattle in the first place, which set me off. But then when I lost my job due to COVID,
Yeah.
I had no form of income at all whatsoever. I have the chickens, which I sell eggs.
Okay.
Currently I make about $37 a month. And that is the
Not bad.
only money I have coming in and probably have had for the last 2 to 3 years.
Mm.
Clearly insurance is still a thing and
Yeah.
land rates and you need to buy things.
Yes.
You can't grow everything. So I've
Hmm.
been dipping into the savings. In a good year, I can make a lot of hay and I
Yeah.
can sell some of that hay. So the idea is I have enough hay for my own animals and then I
Hmm.
sell enough hay to pay the contractor, and anything that's surplus to that, I can sell and put money in the bank, which will then pay those big bills like the insurance, like car repairs or land rates or whatever.
Yeah.
But because we have been in drought here for 3 years, I haven't made any surplus hay. Last year, last hay season, I got 210 bales of hay and I need about 400 bales of hay to feed my own animals. So last year I had to actually ration the hay for my own animals.
Wow.
So it meant that I was feeding them every second day, not every day. And I had friends who would go into town on different days for their own jobs and things, and they'd go to the bakery and buy like big garbage bags, big bags of day-old bread from the bakeries and things, and they'd bring
Right.
that back to me in the evening, and I'd be feeding them bread on the off days. This year, I've only made 187 bales so far, which clearly isn't going to be anywhere near enough.
Mm.
But I've got another paddock, and I'm hoping that he can come back next week and cut that second paddock. And also, my next door neighbour has offered me a paddock as well. So I'm really hoping that if this hay contract comes back, that I can get a bit more, because 187 to feed all my sheep and cattle isn't going to be enough.
Right.
But it also means that, because of the drought and not getting enough hay, I've had to just get into my savings every year to pay the bills.
Right.
So I don't have a lot of money left. This year, 2026, is my make or break year, basically.
Right.
This is the year that if I don't make money on either selling cattle or selling hay or
Yep.
YouTube or whatever, this is the year that could see me go under. So,
Right.
but you just keep going, you one day at a time, and God will provide.
Yeah.
My
Absolutely.
neighbour, my
Absolutely.
neighbour has offered up a paddock, and that could change everything for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we
Yeah.
got a couple of things here. Yep, this is Dora dropped your buy me a coffee link. So everybody feel free to
Thank you.
support Susan High Country Homestead through that buy me a coffee. She's got her articles on there, all her writing on there about homesteading as well too. So there's a lot of value she's producing in all these different ways. And a couple questions. And we're going to talk about the YouTube monetization as well. But questions from Hardknack Farms. Is there property tax there? Is the question.
Property tax
Yeah, everywhere else in the world there is.
might be. I think what I am calling land rates might be what you guys call
Okay.
property tax. Um,
Okay.
every like, I am in the Wangaratta Shire, and every shire within Australia, people that own land or have houses have to pay rates or a tax, I suppose, to their local council. And my local council would be Wangaratta. So I hope that answers your questions. Does that sound like land tax?
I guess so. I guess
Yeah.
so. That's good.
Yeah.
And Hardknack Farms also wants to know: do you have a well or a fresh water source?
I do.
Mm.
Not a well, because I can't afford to have a bore put in,
Right.
but we do have some natural springs. Being in the high country, some natural springs around the property, and
Mm.
I've got one, two, three. I've got 4 or 5 big 20,000 litre water tanks that harvest water off the roof of the garage and the hay shed and things like that. But I also have another water tank in the bush
Yeah.
next to on the low side of a spring. So the spring feeds into the water tank, and then I've got a pump there which then feeds it back up to another tank that runs off the back of my hay shed, and then it gravity feeds down to the house. So all our water is either is generally rainwater. The
Yeah.
only time we really need to use the spring in a good year is in the height of summer.
Okay. And Strings and Pucks has just said, just keep us updated on everything. I know you always keep us all updated on
I
everything,
will.
how it's all going, and with the YouTube monetization, that's what a lot of us are doing on here. Oh, and
Yeah.
welcoming Chris Lee. I don't know if I even said welcome Chris
Oh,
Lee.
hi,
Uh,
Chris.
the YouTube monetization, like a lot of us, that's what we're working towards, or and then build from there, of course.
Yeah.
So where my channel is at, so I could see your channel getting to a point where there's $100 to $200 a month coming in consistently. However long it takes to get to that
Yeah.
point to start with. That's a good
Yeah.
beginning level when you first get the
Mm.
monetization in place, and then
That
you
would be
activate
such an awesome thing.
the memberships and the super chat, super stickers, super
Mm.
thanks, the Google AdSense money coming in, and the shop if you want to put up a shop, and these sorts of the gifts. There's a good potential that you can have $100 to $200 as soon as we get you to that
Wow.
monetization level. So what would that? Yeah, what would that mean for you and the homestead?
Oh, that would mean so much. I mean, like I said, we're getting $37 a month, and that's it. That's all I'm getting.
Yeah,
Um, we're and that's fine because we have a roof over our head.
right.
We have water that comes from the property. We have firewood that comes from the property. So the firewood is our source of heating. We have a log burner, and we also have a wood stove that we cook with. So the firewood comes from the property to heat our home, to heat our water, to cook our food. So I'm fine for cooking. Um, our needs are not great in that regard.
Right.
But it's the big ticket items like the insurance and the land rates or land tax, which I think is the same thing. My car hasn't been professionally serviced in 8 years, I think it is. Um, just to be able to get a few little things like that, it it would open up a whole new world of possibilities and things that I could start saving for that would help us on the property.
Yeah.
Get some equipment. I've got a quad bike, but it doesn't work, and I can't work out
Yeah.
why it doesn't work. It used to work, but I can't afford to get a mechanic in to fix it. So it just sits in the shed.
Right.
Um, I need to, when you're only getting $37 a month, you really need to think about every single penny. And I
Yeah.
think, well, I don't need to put money towards the quad bike when I can spray my fence lines wearing a backpack, for instance, or so it would just make life a lot easier. Even $100 a month,
Yeah.
that would be
Right.
huge for you know, there's two of us here on 165 acres on $37 a month. That's
Yeah.
hard going. So if I suddenly got $100 a month, I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, for sure. Where's your watch hours at again? What's your hours at?
About 1,200.
About 1,200. Okay, so we
Yeah.
need to get you to
Yeah.
3,000 to
Um,
activate a lot of that really good monetization
it
stuff
would.
is at
But
3,000 hours. She's past
3,000
1,000 subscribers.
hours just sounds so big. I mean, for me, it just
So
sounds like this daunting number that's up there. And it's
do you have a
fantastic.
4K? Do you have a 4K watch hour playlist? Something where like it's got like 10 hours of your content built in. Like that's what most of us are doing.
Not yet. I mean, my biggest
Yeah.
playlist is probably the lives playlist,
So if you
of
could
which I have
organize
13
it,
now.
build it
Yeah.
out a little bit more,
Yeah.
because they want to play it. Everyone wants to play it overnight for say 8 hours. So you want
Yeah.
to
Okay.
put in like a 72 hours of content in a playlist. Call
Um,
it the 4K
okay.
watch hours playlist or something. And then
Yeah.
yeah, these silent live streams or just putting your camera out on your porch for the during the day every day
I've
and letting it
sort of done
show
that.
the different parts of the
I
farm.
I wanted to because we've got
Yeah,
that fantastic view out the front, and I thought
I
I should
know.
put a camera there because you can see like the sun rising and the sun setting, and
Oh,
and then at
every
different
day
times you'll have cows
you
walking
will
past and chickens walking past, and
you will get 20 to 50 watch hours a day just by letting your camera do the work. So, and
Wow.
that's
Okay.
all you need to get to that 3,000 and start earning some money. Um, you know, that's like about a month of time if the math is
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that's something definitely prioritize because the
Yeah.
farm, to
Yeah.
me, the farm, you're managing the farm, but there's an income stream that could make a big difference that's right
Yeah.
there, that's about a
Yeah.
month away. If you just let your camera do the work
A
each day,
month.
get those
Wow.
20 to 50 watch hours each day. Say you got 20 watch hours a day. That's 600 hours in a month. That would get you there pretty fast. But if you get you up to 50 hours watch hours a day, just by letting, just make sure you stop the stream before 12 hours each time,
Yeah.
so you
Okay.
actually get those watch hours. But start doing that.
Okay. All right.
And the playlist, the 4K playlist on your post tab, just share on your post tab. Say, this is my new 4K playlist. Please queue up my content. I'd like to get monetized soon, and this much money per month would help the farm so much, the homestead.
Yeah.
And then if
Yeah.
you do you know how to tag people? Like you put at
Yeah.
Exploradora 80 and make sure you click on there once it populates. You have to click on them to
Uh-huh.
make it actual link.
Yeah.
Um, so do that with all the people that have ever
Uh,
supported you. Just put them all on that post. And then
yeah.
now you have 50 or 100 people that will queue up your content regularly. And I think we can get
Okay.
you within a month to 2 months to get you to that. Start making $100 a month pretty soon.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Thanks. It's
And then I
important.
could buy a half decent phone too.
Yeah, there's so many things. Plus, these visitors, sorry, but these visitors that are coming, there may be a money piece too. You can't just working is not a, if they have a little bit of money to contribute, I would probably have a money thing just to secure, like at least to secure. I want to vet the person and on make sure there's a little bit of money there to protect you. And then yeah, they've got to work, put in their hours, and there's got to be more ways to earn money too. I'm a big business person. So I'm like a
Yeah.
farm, a ranch, 165. If you were able to have tenants or anything, if you need to
Yeah.
parcel out, if you had to parcel out and sell a
Yeah.
portion,
Yeah.
you could, worst case. But yeah. So okay, sorry, that's my business money tangent I had to go on.
Your business mind kicking in.
And I'm the type that would just like uproot and like, all right, Deb, we're gonna go fly over there and we're gonna partner up and help. And like, I'm that type of person because it does sound like a dream come true, and
Yeah.
we could
Yeah.
put our energy in so many different places. It's just,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. You know how much money we pay rent here? Like $2,000 a month.
What?
Imagine that.
That's
So
incredible.
so yeah, that's the world we live in. So
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
okay.
look, I mean, I know there's obviously a serious lack of money, but I still feel, I mean, this
You're
life we live, we're
wealthy.
so blessed. We're
You're
so blessed.
wealthy,
We have a,
blessed beyond.
yeah. I mean, we have a roof over our heads. We have our health.
Absolutely.
We have fresh water. We have firewood to like I said,
Hmm.
heat our home, cook our food. I mean, we're provided with so
So
much. This property provides us with so much,
absolutely.
and we're incredibly blessed, you know.
Yeah,
And
you're
just a few little
beyond
things, a few little improvements here or there wouldn't go
100%.
astray.
I agree. Yep. So let's see what type of interview we can do here. We got an hour and 13 minutes already into this thing.
Wow.
Um, let's yeah, we're doing so great. But I wanna make sure we touch on all the different points though too. Um, so tell us. So we talked about you growing up. A big part is going to be your career. I want to talk about that. So I guess like tell us about yourself, your background. I want to know because you had a really successful career. You're a big timer, and you don't talk about that on here probably much.
No,
But tell us
I've
about your
never
career.
always steer clear of it. So
your career, you don't have to, but your career position maybe,
yeah,
what type of experience you had throughout that, and then put you in a position to be able to afford this 165 plus acre homestead.
yeah,
So
yeah.
tell us about yourself and that.
Um, okay, so I think right back in the beginning of this interview, I was saying how I was an only child. Um, and then when I was a teenager, my father passed away, and then my mother passed away about 10 months later. And so I was sort of left on my own somewhat.
Yeah.
Um, I ended up I lived sort of with my elderly neighbors for a little bit.
Hmm.
But then they would sort of make sure I was getting fed. I was about 15 or 16. But they would make sure I was getting fed and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I would sort of spend some nights in my house, but it was like right next door, like you could almost
Yeah.
spit between the houses. So um, I was sort of forced at an incredibly young age to become an adult. Um, my neighbors taught me how to sort of pay bills and things like that. And then I got my first job and yeah, learning how to pay bills. My dad's car was still in the garage, so my neighbor taught me how to drive. And he had been a mechanic back in the day, so he got the car up and running for me. So I drove my dad's old car for 2 or 3 years. But I guess I sort of missed out on like all my school friends, like when they finished school and they were going out to pubs and clubs and nightclubs and doing all that sort of thing and going shopping and buying makeup and doing all that sort of stuff. When my parents passed away, the house we were living in, while it was their house, it still had a mortgage attached to it. And so as soon as I could work, I had to start paying a mortgage straight away. Now, in some ways, that's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing to lose your parents so young. It's a terrible thing to lose them anytime, not just when you're so young. But um, I guess there is always some good that comes of a situation, even if it's a bad situation. And it took me many, many years to see some good that came from this. But I had to start working straight away, and I was working at a pub, I think, and I also had a job at a bookshop, and I had a job for a little while at Cadbury's for about only for a couple of months to pay off the mortgage on my parents' house. But I managed to get it paid off by the time I was 21,
Hmm. Oh,
and
okay. Hmm.
that sort of put me in an incredible financial position at the time to have a house paid off by then. And there's no way I could have done that if my parents hadn't sort of got the ball rolling with purchasing the property for themselves and for us
Right.
as a family.
Yeah.
Um, so I did that, and then I started working. I got a job. I wanted to work in media.
Yeah.
Um, I wasn't specific about what part of media that I wanted to be in, but I got a job at um, a very, very big media organisation, Australia-wide organisation. So, oh, well, look, I got a job at the ABC, so the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. There we go, it's out.
It's out.
Um, but I wasn't in the program making side of it. I did dabble in it from time to time, but when I started in the mail room. Mail is in, envelopes and letters and stuff, and I'd
Yep.
deliver the mail, pick up and drop off mail around various departments and various buildings. Um, And then I went to the TV design department, and I would be doing all the admin and the rosters and stuff. And the design department used to design and the sets for the TV shows. And then I worked in design department for about 6 months. Then I went to the newsroom, again doing rosters and admin, but sometimes doing the rosters didn't take long. It might take me 2 or 3 days, but then I had like 3 or 4 days where I had nothing to do. So my bosses would send me out with the news crews when they were filming the stories. And so some of the news crew guys started teaching me a little bit about audio, and this is how we do this and this is how we do that. And so I started learning a little bit more about the technical side of things, but I was there for about 25 years altogether.
Wow.
And over the course of that time, probably 80% of it was always admin related, but admin related in relation to radio programs or TV programs and things like that. I was a researcher for several years for some of the radio programs, and that was great fun. I like researching because I like books and I like writing, and part of my job as a researcher was to also suggest questions for the presenter based
Okay.
on the research that I had done. So, and that's what most researchers did within the ABC. So we were sort of researching and putting questions forward. I think I even presented 2 or 3 times. There was a couple of times I was working for an overnight program, which was national. And like with an hour to go, you'd find out that your presenter had called in sick. And that was always an interesting night. But then you'd just start like tee up pre-records and things like that, and play musical tracks. So I could do that sort of
Yeah.
thing. Like they'd taught us all how to do that. So if something happened to your presenter, like they suddenly fainted or something happened, we could at least keep things
Yeah.
happening on it, and people wouldn't necessarily be aware. But yeah, I was always on the admin side, but it gave me an incredible insight into how the world of media went down, even though I didn't know how to do it myself at that point.
Yeah. Wow. And here you are now. You're on stage.
No, and that was just so mind blowing for me. Like when I worked there, I
Yeah.
had so many opportunities to learn about video editing or
Yeah.
editing audio, and like the ABC they were always running courses. They had their own training department, always running courses so that people could learn how to do this stuff, learn
Yeah.
how to run a radio studio,
Wow.
learn how to run a TV studio, learn how to do makeup for TV, costuming, I mean, everything. And I didn't really utilize a lot of those courses because it didn't I don't know if it didn't interest me so much. I guess I didn't believe that I was capable of doing such things. So
Mm.
I did learn a tiny bit about audio, and that was from the news crews that I used to follow around. But I just find it so ironic that I spent 25 years in an organization that were like offering free
Right.
courses for me to do to teach me all this stuff.
Wow.
I didn't do any of it. And then I come up here, and after, 5 or 6 years, I think, I'm going to do videos. So, and then I had to start watching all these YouTube tutorials to learn
Yeah.
how to download the editing software, and then how to open the editing software, and then how to get the video from my phone into the computer, and then from the
Right.
computer into the editing. I had to learn
Right.
everything,
Everything.
absolutely everything. I had no idea. And I mean, I didn't even have Oh, there's a cat. I
Oh,
didn't
it is
even
one of
have
the
a mobile
cats.
phone, like I was such a technophobe. I didn't even have a mobile phone until all
Yeah,
this started happening. So
yeah,
yeah, it's been
quite a
an
lot.
interesting journey. I
Yeah,
met lots of interesting people though.
yeah. That sounds amazing. Awesome. Yep. And here we are now. So maybe it was a part of that was a part of leading you to this
Yeah,
where we're now
yeah,
media
maybe
people.
so. Yeah,
We're
yeah,
running because I feel like we are ultimately on the path to run these sorts of media operations, but through the
yeah.
internet, and like a lot of us will work together in some sort of an empire of the future media here. So I have a bunch of people here came in. So Chris Horde PSW is here, Reaper Boy, State Pickle, Nicholas Grohl, LNPH Vlog, Mental Raccoon Glass. And there's a question here. Question by Dora. Let's see. Question for
Ah,
Susan. In your perfect world, where do you see yourself in 1 year? Think there is more income coming in. How does Susan's life look?
in 1 year, I'd like to think that I'm still here. That I haven't had to put the farm up on the market.
Mm-mm.
Um, hopefully, an easier life, a life where I
Uh,
don't have to think about every single cent that I spend.
Right.
Well, I think about everything, like should I be turning on this light in the kitchen for that long? Go around turning off lights and saving this and saving that, and just it would. I'd like if I got monetization,
When?
it would allow me to pay some bills. It would allow me to hopefully put a little bit of money in the bank, but hopefully it would allow me to relax a little bit and not stress so much about waste. I
Yeah.
always worry about waste, and if I could be doing something better to save food or preserve food or save electricity or save petrol. Like we don't go into town much, and that's partly because we grow most of our food here, but it's also because town is so far away. If I go
Right.
into town 4 times a year, that's a tank of fuel. And I can't always afford a tank of fuel, So um and then I think, well, if I go into town, what most people when they go into town, they go shopping or they might go to the movies or they'll buy a
Right.
coffee and stuff like that. And I think, well, even if I go into town, I can't necessarily afford to do those things.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So even a day out doesn't happen that often because I think, well, summer's coming and it's bushfire season. I need to make sure the car is fully fueled if we need
Yep. For
out
sure.
to go.
Right.
So I shouldn't go to town in the months preceding summer because I may not be able to top the car up with fuel.
Right.
So I have to think about every tiny little thing that most people probably wouldn't think of,
Mm.
you
Right.
know,
Right.
and it would just
Um,
give me that freedom.
exactly. A couple things like I'm thinking of for like I haven't done these things yet, but I just want to mention them. So an Amazon, like an Amazon wish list is something I think a lot of your supporters would already purchase something on Amazon through your Amazon wish list that would send it to you or a place where you could pick it up even. Um,
Yeah.
so there's just getting that signed up and then choosing some things that would help you. I think people would contribute in that way even before you're monetized. That's something you could do right
I
away.
do. I
And
do
then,
have an Australian
oh,
Amazon wish list, which is in my
yeah.
links. But
Oh,
I
cool.
probably have to set up because
Something.
I don't know whether like people in the northern hemisphere whether they can get into the Aussie one or whether I need to set up
I don't
like
know.
an American version for. But
And
there
then
is one there. It's been there about 10 months.
you got to keep promoting it, keep sharing that
I
link out over
do.
and
I do.
over,
I
and
never think about it.
talking
I
about it
set it up and then I forgot about it.
in every video or every live stream. You got to have a list of these things that you mention every time, and that
Oh,
would be one
okay.
of them. the buy me a coffee and the
Well,
Amazon wish list, and
I
um,
still feel really weird about
you got to get
self-promoting,
past
and I
that
know, you know,
feeling.
I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
everyone
It,
tells me, but
as
it's like every time I do a live, Dora's like, "Tell them about buy me a coffee. Tell them about buy me a coffee."
and
I go, "Oh,
I've
yeah."
I've witnessed some of these farm YouTube channels. They'll have like 50,000 subscribers, or 500,000, or a million, or whatever they
Yeah.
have, and they have a PO box, and they get everything they possibly want, need, or desired sent to them
Wow.
via
I know,
the.
I've seen that.
So these things exist. It's just you're early in the process of something
Yeah,
that's going to take off and continue to grow. And that
yeah,
first level is just 1,000 subs. Your channel starts to look bigger. People
yeah,
gravitate to you. And
yeah,
then like the monetization, that first, once you start getting a little income going and your channel is growing, all of a sudden people see you, and it and
yeah.
sometimes you'll put out more content that's evergreen, and then all of a sudden you get a huge viral video, and these sorts of things do happen. Welcome, Sebastian Valdez Bastias. Welcome in. And we're getting kind of late in the show here, so I want to ask a few more questions here, but then do a quick rapid fire round and get to know you a little more with that, and then we do the raid at the very end. We might not have time to get anyone up on stage with us or have questions from the audience comments. We'll try to squeeze it all in a little bit here. So
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm
um,
talking too much.
we're good. We're at an hour and a half. You're doing awesome. So let's talk about, so your channel, the High Country Homestead channel. It says I'll just, so basically you've been going consistently since February 2024 is what I'm witnessing.
Yeah.
And you've got 1,340 plus subs. You got over 150, around 150 videos, 150,000 views. You just passed 150,000 views. Congratulations
Wow.
to Susan High Country Homestead for that milestone. So I guess tell us a bit about your channel and maybe your YouTube journey a little bit. You want to give us a little bit of that?
Okay, YouTube journey. Well, yeah, I started it in February of 2024. I have noticed that when I went in and had a look just the other day, and it says February of
That's
2014.
when your
I don't,
channel was, that was when your
yeah,
Google account was created.
I don't think that's right.
10 years
I don't,
before that. Yeah, don't worry
yeah,
about
I
that
think I
number.
actually started it in
Correct.
2024
Yep.
in February. The account, I started it at the beginning of February, and then about 2 weeks later, I did my first short.
Yep.
And just to sort of learn how it worked. And so I did a short, I think the first one was on some flowers or something.
Yep.
And then a week or so later, I did another short. By the time I got to like my third or fourth short, I had learnt that you could put text on the screen. So
Yeah.
I did that. I thought, oh, I've learnt something new. Um, and then I think by the time I got to about 15 or 20 shorts, I'd worked out how to add like music to it from the YouTube
Yep.
library. I think I'd almost got to 50 or 60 shorts before I tackled my first long form. And when I say long form, it was probably only like 5 or 6 minutes. My long forms still aren't that long. So I did that, and that was oh, that was overwhelming, you know. It was just like so freaky, and it was still faceless, of course.
Right.
And then I think it took me about another month or two to do another long form video. And then it probably took me another month or two again. And then I really started getting into the flow of things more. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I need to have editing software. And I had, you know, from talking to other people in other chats, I knew that I needed editing software. So I did all this research like over like a month to work out what the best free software was. And so I did that and I downloaded it. I didn't even know how to download it. I had to watch a tutorial. And
Mm.
then once I got it on there, I had to watch another one to work out how to open it. and then how to drag the things in and edit it, and how to top and tail things, and how to add
Yeah.
music tracks and stuff like that. So there
Yeah.
was a lot of learning. I've got this big thick book of every time
Wow.
I learned something new, like how to do oh, what do you call it? When you speed up the footage, time lapse,
Time lapse.
and stuff like that, but in the editing process. So I watched so many tutorials, and every time I needed to do something, I think, well, how do I do that? So I'd have to stop editing, watch half a dozen tutorials, and then
Right.
go back and try and apply it. So it's been a lot of learning. And
Yeah.
when you consider that, you know, 3 or 4 years ago, I didn't even have a mobile phone. To
Wow.
go from that to where I am now, I've learned
A
so
lot.
much.
Yeah.
I've learned so much, and I'm hoping it'll just get better and better. You know,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not afraid to put my face on the camera now.
Yep.
I wanted to do more cooking segments, but my problem when I was faceless is
Mm.
that I couldn't. A lot of people, when they do a cooking segment, they have a tripod and they have their
Right.
phone or their camera, and then
Yep.
they're in front of it in the kitchen cooking. But
Yep.
I couldn't do that because I couldn't show my face.
Yeah.
And then of course, if I was holding my camera, then I can't do stuff because
Yeah.
one hand is holding my camera. So
Yeah.
there's a whole sort of world of videos that I can potentially do, like the canning, like the cooking, like the preserving, which up until now I wasn't able to do because I wasn't willing to put my face on camera and actually stand in front of that camera. So now that I've sort of crossed that threshold, I can see that in 2026, once we've got sort of the summer and the hay and the shearing and the fires and everything like that out of the way, I can see that my future content, I'll be able to encompass a lot more things, even the gardening, like I couldn't really do a lot of that because I felt, I can't do it if I can't stand in front of the camera. So
Yeah.
I've opened up a whole new world of
Cool.
possibilities in terms of content.
Yeah, it will be a big year.
Yeah.
Welcome in AutoCAD Compolitica. Welcome in Joe Valdez. And I do have a question from Nicholas Grollo. But real quick here, I'm going to kind of review your channel a little bit here. I been studying a lot lately, so check out High Country Homestead. I've in the this past week I've been watching all the content and seeing all the cows and the chickens and Gaia the dog and the cats and sheep and blue tongue. So you have all these experiences: the blue tongue lizard and the
The what?
porcupine and the foxes coming through and a bunch of cockatoo and the wombat and activities. All you're always doing, foraging for firewood, and you got bonfires and you got your wood stove, and you're making things like castor sugar and brown sugar. You got your metal detector that you created there for purpose. You're planting 100 daffodil bulbs. You're doing sourdough starter. You're doing milk with the cows. You got making fresh lemonade. You're surviving a power outage. You're picking peaches. You're cutting, raking, and baling the hay. Which that's the question there
Yeah.
from Nicholas is how is the Bay Hale Bay
Um, well,
Bale going?
hay baling. How's the
Hey
hay
Bailey.
baling
Hey
going?
Bailey.
um, yeah, this year I've only managed to get 187 bales off my own paddock,
That's a
which
lot.
is well, it's not because I actually
I-
need 400 to feed my animals.
yeah.
Um, we because where I live it's so cold. The end of autumn and the beginning of spring can be quite chilly. Not every year, but some years, and there's no growth in the paddock. So what I like to do is to be able to feed my animals for the last month of autumn, and then the first month of spring and then the 3 months of winter. So 400 bales would give me enough food that I can feed my animals for 5 months.
Yep.
Now, some autumns, there's plenty of growth and I don't need to feed them. Some spring, there is plenty of growth and I don't need to feed them. But you don't know until you're in it how much you're going to need. And I need 400 bales and I've got
Yep.
187.
Yeah.
The
Um,
hay contractor is going to come back and he's going to try and get a little bit more from my top paddock. And also, my next door neighbour has offered me one of his paddocks as well for cutting. It's
Good.
just whether or not the contractor can get back here to do it.
Good. Also, yeah, while reviewing your channel, I've also noticed just so much nature beauty, the flowers, the trees, the four seasons, summer rains to the autumn colors, vibrant to the beautiful winters, to all these trees, the diversity of trees, the wisteria, the silver birches, the liquid amber, the gold ash, the white and pink weeping cherry, and the smoke bushes, camellia flowers. And I've just been studying and kind of
You
noting
have.
everything. So I'm just encouraging everybody to check out all of the content there that you've got while we kind of winding this thing down here. I wanted to welcome in Groves Bargain Emporium Steph. And then let's transition over to the rapid fire round. So we
Oh,
get some
no.
quick get to know you questions in here. And while we do that, I will drop the link to anybody who wants to come up on stage that we've gotten to know for the panel. Maybe we can get one or two people up on here. I'll drop the link while we do the rapid fire. If anyone wants to get comfortable in the back room here, and then you can ask questions and do comments to her as well in the chat as well. But we're winding this thing down. We got to make sure we get to Raid as well.
Yeah,
Nicholas says Susan has beautiful land and has a great personality. 100%.
thank you.
Um, so rapid fire is a quick round where we get to know you a little better, just little real lighthearted questions.
Okay.
So let's start it off. So Susan is
An introvert.
perfect. High Country Homestead, the brand and the channel is
Evolving.
oh, okay.
Hmm.
Your subscribers are
My family, my
oh,
support network.
what's one
Honestly,
word?
I couldn't do it without them, really.
No, not at all. So what's one word that describes you? Another word, I guess.
Determined.
Determine. Okay, what's
Mm.
one thing that makes you happy?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Okay. All right.
Food. I'm a foodie.
Uh foodie, nice. What's are you a cats or a dog person? It's hard for you to answer that.
Oh,
Cats or dogs?
look,
You don't have
I
to
used
pick.
to be a dog person.
Yeah.
Now I'm a cat person.
Okay.
Our dog, she passed away about a year ago, and I haven't been able to get another dog since then. Like even rescue dogs, they're so expensive to buy. And I have to be very careful with rescue dogs. You have to get something that's um doesn't have a prey drive because of course I've got sheep and I've got cattle and there's kangaroos here and deer here and cats of course. So I've got to be very careful what dog I adopt and I haven't found
Right.
that dog yet. So for the time being, I'm a cat person.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Mm,
Uh,
okay. I love coffee, but
yeah.
I only have one coffee a day when I first get up at about 6 o'clock in the morning. And
Right.
after that, I just drink water or tea all day.
Okay. Favorite food? A
Oh, gee,
favorite
only
food.
one?
Yeah,
Okay.
a favorite food.
Cheese, chocolate,
Yeah.
shrimps,
Ooh.
and yeah, that'll do me. They're probably
Okay.
the top three.
What about a favorite drink of yours?
But I do have the occasional Bailey's Irish cream.
Yes.
That's a treat. It doesn't
What
happen
about
often.
what about a favorite dessert or ice cream flavor?
Favorite dessert would probably be cheesecake.
Okay. All right.
Ice cream flavor. I love all ice cream. I actually made a Milo ice cream just
Oh,
yesterday. So
wow.
at the moment I've got Milo flavored ice cream in the
Nice.
freezer.
Nice.
So you guys get Milo over there, don't you?
I don't know. It sounds familiar, but I'm not sure what it is exactly. But yeah,
Okay, okay. It's sort
uh,
of like a chopped malt powder
chop.
that you mix with milk. Yeah.
Not sure. Not sure. But Ellen Smile, welcome in Ellen Smile. Yeah, I see Joe's question. We'll get to it. Oh, he's got what about pizza? Okay, would you like pizza? Of course, you like pizza.
Oh, pizza.
Um,
Pizza.
and Joe just wanted to say, how are you and the family? So
Oh, we're well. We're well. We're healthy
good,
and we're
good.
safe. And that's
Um,
all that matters. Thank you.
and a couple more of these because we got a couple people in the back room, and you can let me know if it's cool and all. We got Kyle and Rudy. So
Nice.
um, so a couple more of these questions before we bring anybody up. What about like traveling wise? Like, is there like a favorite city you've traveled to in the world?
Um, okay, I really loved Salzburg. That was an amazing place. It was so beautiful. Um, I love Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And also I went to Dresden in Germany. And that was a very long time ago, but that was the most amazing place. Dresden was bombed quite heavily during World War II, and a lot of the buildings hadn't been damaged, but many of them had been bombed, and they were still rebuilding them. And I went down this street, and there was just like rubble, rows and rows of rubble. Some are little bits on tables, and they'd have like name tags on them from what building
Oh
they
my.
thought that piece of rubble came from. Some of them were huge bits of rubble, like the size of a car, you know. Um, and what they were trying to do was they were using those bits of rubble to rebuild some of the buildings with their original rubble, and they were using craftsmen and tradespeople to rebuild Dresden literally from the rubble. And that was like, it would have been 1999 when I was last in Dresden in Germany. And that was then, they were still rebuilding the city from the rubble in 1999 from World War II. So that was, from a historical point of view, that was an incredible thing to see. So, yeah, Salzburg, Dresden, and France.
Okay. What about like a country you'd love to visit? Country in the world you'd love to visit?
I would love to go to Alaska. I'd love to go to Alaska. Um, I would love to go to Canada too,
Oh,
only
okay.
because I've made so many friends in Canada. I would like to go and visit, and I'd love to see the Northern Lights.
Yes, yes. My last few questions, I mean, we can, if you want, it basically about do you dance, do you play any music or do any music or any favorite music or TV or movies, anything like that. And then I'll bring up Rudy and Kyle and Dora is here now too. So, but
Well,
yeah.
when I was really little, I did ballet lessons.
Oh yeah.
So I did ballet. Woo,
Ah,
sorry, the cat just flew across. I
yeah.
did ballet for many years. Musical instruments. Look, I have a guitar, but I was
Uh-huh.
never particularly good at it. I am trying to learn, like actively learning the tin whistle at the moment. I'm
Interesting.
no good at it, and I'm not going to play it for you, but I
No.
am trying to learn the tin whistle, so I can play a lot of those Celtic tunes and
Yeah,
things like that,
that'd be
you know.
nice.
So
So,
favorite music. Look, when I worked at the ABC, I
mm,
worked in the music and reference library for
right.
many years of my time there. So it was a book and music library. And if a presenter needed, they'd come in and say, right, we're doing a show and it's on this. What music can you recommend? So we would recommend particular tracks to go with their programs. Um, and I sort of became sort of an unofficial expert on their 1940s content. So the real older pieces, like the 1920s and the 1930s and 40s stuff, was my niche. If anyone came in and wanted to know about older music, that I was the person they came to, because I loved all that older music. And I've got a gramophone and like the
Uh,
old 78s, and you know, you wind the thing up. And yeah, I really love the older music, but I listen to a lot of Celtic and folk as well. And I still listen to the
cool.
modern stuff. I mean, I've got a teenager. I
Yeah.
have to.
So here we are at the panel. We've got Kyle, Rudy, and Exploradora 80 in the building.
Hello,
Welcome.
hello
Feel
everyone.
feel free to unmute yourself.
Hello, how you going, guys? Two of my favorite
Hi.
people online together.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Hello,
You-
Susan.
Hello,
Hey,
how are
Rudy. Hey,
you?
Can you,
Kyle.
can you quote
I'm
11,
well.
Susan?
What was it, 11?
Yeah, I'm 45.
45?
Okay, what were you in 94, 92, and 86?
I didn't quite catch that, Rudy. I'm sorry.
Did he say 92, 86, 94?
92, 86, 94.
And party like it's 99.
Okay.
99.
All right, Rudy. Rudy, it's
Remember
I'm
when
gonna
in
mute.
December the World Trade Center collapsed in '01, Susan?
Hold on, Rudy. I'm gonna mute you for a second here. So, Rudy, yeah, this is for questions and comments directly for Susan. So, take a breather. Dora, do you have any questions or comments? And then Kyle, feel free to unmute when you're ready, and you can ask a question or pose a comment as well.
Sure, cool. It's awesome. Really, actually, really cool. Because I mean, obviously, I know Susan quite well from
Yeah.
YouTube, right? We're YouTube friends. But it's actually quite interesting to hear all these other stories about Susan in the background. I mean, I knew there was lots of stories. I mean,
Right.
Susan's got stories coming out of everywhere, right?
Oh, I've got
But
so many more
yeah,
stories.
exactly.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to hear some of the stories, like the car that you, the car that you had. Like, what the hell? That's really cool. And
Mhm.
I actually didn't know that you worked for ABC. That's interesting, really interesting. So many
I've
things
never put
unpacked
it
here.
out there before. This
Nobody
was
knew.
another first.
Yeah, right. No, so it's been really good listening, and
Yeah,
I've always got questions, right? So my question before was like, and you did answer it about, in the perfect world, if you had a magic wand in a year's time, where would you be? And you were saying, like obviously, not stressing, all those kind of things. But
mm,
my question really is a little bit deeper than that.
yeah,
Say, moving forward, you are monetized, there's money coming in. I don't know where, we don't know where that comes from, right? Let's just let
yeah.
that happen with the universe, right? But in a year's time, you're not going to be stressed about money, right? Because that's all been looked after. Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself on the farm? What's happening on the farm? And you?
Right.
I mean,
Okay. A lot of fencing.
fencing?
I want to put up some barns. I've got at the moment 3 paddocks, but only one of them has shelter for animals.
Okay.
So I would like to put shelters up in the other 2. So when we do have, our really icy, snowy winters, all my animals have somewhere to shelter if they choose to.
That's cool.
So
Yeah.
I would like to have, and they would be so much healthier for it, because even though I need hay to feed them, to sustain them, and they need the hay sort of to keep their body temperature up, to keep them warm, but if they had barns, they wouldn't be as cold in the first place. So
Yeah.
they would have a much better quality of life if
Okay.
I could shelter them better. So
Okay.
more fencing, more shelter,
All right. But what
a
about
much
you,
bigger
Susan?
veggie garden.
Okay, what about for you? Like, I mean, is there trips planned? Like, I mean, I know you don't think about this stuff, but like, I'm thinking if there's, you're monetized and there's money coming in from different sources, like, Doran's giving you other ideas about other income, sources. We've all
Yeah.
talked about different income sources for you, and it'll come. But like, just say in a year's time, everything's coming about.
Yeah.
You're talking about the animals. I'm talking about you, Susan. Like, where would
Oh,
you love to
God.
see yourself in a year's time? I mean, I know you're going to be living on the farm, but maybe, maybe some travel. I don't know. Maybe you want to see something fantastic in Australia. Maybe you want to go back to Paris, what you love. I don't know.
Wow. It's really hard to think of things in terms of me.
I know.
Right.
That's why I'm asking
Because
the question.
I
Putting you on the spot.
haven't, it's not something that I can think about all that often, because it's not something that's within my reach currently, and it
Yeah.
hasn't been within my reach for such a long time, like over 10 years.
What about just going to
So
Melbourne, like Melbourne for a weekend?
yeah, I'd probably want to go down the coast road, because I
Okay.
haven't seen the
Yeah.
beach for, oh God, like 15
love.
years or something.
Okay.
I would probably, I'd have to hire a car, because my poor old car, I don't think it would actually make a trip like that. But hire a car and just go for a drive along the coast and along the Great Ocean Road, and stop off at various points,
Oh, that'd be nice.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I would love to be able to do that, and to show my daughter the beach and things like that. That seems something that for me is achievable in the near future, but not necessarily now. It's not
Yeah.
something I could do now, but it would be
Right.
nice to do. I would like to
Okay.
do that one day. See a
Well,
beach.
we're visualizing that for you,
Yeah.
along with the red tractor. All right, the red tractor is
Yes,
definitely
Uh-huh.
part of the
yes,
visualization.
very important.
Welcome in, local reviewer 82 and M3 Minds. Welcome in. Local reviewer says, "Come see me in Mass." Is that Massachusetts? There you go. And I'm setting up the raid over here. I'm looking at options. I
Oh,
see Blessed to Crochet is live and with her audience. Um,
Oh,
I'm not seeing anyone else live and with their audience, but I'm gonna see who else I can see on the thing here. So like Red's Room TV is doing a radio thing. Eclipse Obscurity's live, playing a video game. Jones Junk Journal's doing a puzzle. Little Red Big Smile is live, so that's a possibility. So those are kind of our options. So oh yeah, Alaskan Adventures is in Honolulu right now. Awesome. Very cool. Oh, Echo has a birthday, Rudy says. Thank you for that update. Very cool. But we got about a few minutes left here. So you want to, Susan, you want to say some things to kind of like wrap it all up? What do you got to say?
I'm gonna go.
Oh,
oh,
thanks,
yeah.
Dora.
See ya.
See you, Dora.
Bye.
Gee, what do I say? Well, look, thank
Summarize
you
it all.
everyone for being here, of course. And
Yeah.
I think the Buy Me a Coffee came up there at one point.
Yep.
And I just wanted to talk briefly about that. One of the ways I eased myself into media was by writing. And I write for 2 publications. They don't pay me for it. So therefore I upload my articles to Buy Me a Coffee after they've been printed generally. And with Buy Me a Coffee, it is a platform where people can donate, but you don't have to donate. You can actually just go in and read my articles. And I set it up because I wanted people to read what I write about. Because I was such an introvert when I started writing, it was a way for me to express myself. And because I'm so remote where I live, it was also a way for me to put myself out there, because sometimes I can go a couple of months and not see people. So it was a way for me to share my story, because I can't share my story any other way. So if you want to read some of the stories, and don't feel like you need to donate, that wasn't the driving force behind it when I set it up. But yeah, if you want to sort of read some bits and pieces, look up High Country Homestead and read some of the articles. That would be
Awesome.
great. But yeah, look, but apart from that, just thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you so much. You've been a wonderful guest, and we've learned so much about you. And you're doing really amazing things with the farm and with your channel. And it's just the beginning of something so great, so great. So,
Yeah, thank you
uh,
very much.
I've got to do this raid song and video, and then we're gonna raid Blessed to Crochet. As y'all know, we go in, we land there, and stay a minimum 5 minutes, and we support the host and love up and all that good stuff. We say source raid, source and high country homestead raid. So you could say anything like that. I'm gonna play this raid song and video here. Poetic Tears made the music for it, and I made the video, so let's do that first.
Welcome aboard Source Airlines, taking off tonight. Fasten your seatbelts, yeah, the vibe is right. Flying high with the fam, yeah, we feeling so free. From the chat to the skies, it's a Source 479 free. Windows down, good vibes, only on this flight. Drop a like, say hey, let the love take flight. From the runway to the clouds, yeah, we rising again. A Source Airlines, where the fun never ends. White Captain Source on the mic, yeah, we clear for the sky. Destination good vibes, yeah, we aiming real high. So subscribe, come ride, yeah, the fam's on the plane. It's Source Airlines taking off, let's go!
Gang. All right, bye. Thanks, Susan.
Bye.
Blessings.
Bye,
See y'all
everyone.
soon. Tomorrow, support Spin Wheel tomorrow, and support Okies Eden, but queue up her playlist, her live streams. Bye, everybody.
We are family. I got all my supporters with me. Hey! We are family. Come on over to the source and see. Hey! We are family. I got all my supporters with me. Hey! We are family. Forever the source, that's you.